Mysterious Realities. Case File 7. The case of chilling ghost tales from around the UK. The Pickled Parson of Sedgefield. Sitting on the outskirts of the city of Durham in the northeast of England is the popular village of Sedgefield. Dating back to the Roman times, Sedgefield has appeared on an episode of Time Team and is probably more well known as being the constituency of former Prime Minister Tony Blair. Of course, being a long-established village which was even recorded in the Domesday Book, Sedgefield is home to a number of hauntings, the most famous of which dating back to the 1740s is the mysterious tale of the Pickled Parson. Reverend John Garnage was the rector of Sedgefield and was responsible for the St. Edmund's Church. The Reverend lived with his family in the old rectory. Sadly, the Reverend became ill and died in mid-December 1747. Having died suddenly, this left his family in an extremely vulnerable position. On behalf of the church, the Reverend would collect the annual tithe from its parishioners. On the 20th of December each year, the law stated that all due tithe payments were paid to the parson. This provided an income for the clergyman whilst also maintaining the church and rectory. However, following his death, all tithes would instead go directly to the Bishop of Durham. With the Reverend's family facing poverty and homelessness once their meagre savings ran out, Mrs. Garnage happened upon a plan to still collect the money for her family. The grieving widow preserved the Reverend's body with salt and brandy to ensure his body didn't start to decay prior to the tithe collection day. Indeed, it is said that all the owed tithes were paid as usual on the day, with Mrs. Garnage informing all that the Reverend was unwell but was visible as she collected all monies on her husband's behalf. However, the Reverend could not rest in death and is believed to have become an earthbound spirit, with the rectory experiencing all levels of disturbances and unexplainable events. One witness would describe these happenings as making the night most hideous indeed. The Reverend became known as the Pickled Parson and would go on to haunt the rectory for many years. It is reported that the haunting only stopped when the rectory building caught fire and burnt to the ground in 1792. There are still reported hauntings from the Pickled Parson is still haunting, with many claiming there is a secret tunnel between St. Edmund's Church and the site of the former rectory where Reverend Garnage still wanders to this very day. Scottish Lady of Carlisle Castle. For more than 900 years Carlisle Castle, which is located in Cumbria, England, close to the border with Scotland, has stood watch on the people of Carlisle. During its history, the castle has been occupied by the English and Scottish many times. This is because of its location on the border, which itself has a long, violent and bloody history. The area of in and around the castle have been in military use dating back to the Roman times. It has served as a prison and army barracks, with its most famous prisoner being Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary was held in the castle during 1568. Today, the castle still has strong military roots, with the King's Own Royal Border Regiment Museum being housed within the castle complex. The castle is under the ownership of English Heritage, and despite there being no Scottish occupation for some considerable time, it seems that one Scottish resident still remains. During construction of the parade square and barracks back in the 1830s, workers discovered the grisly skeleton of a lady who had been bricked into one of the keep's second-story walls. She was found to still be wearing 3 rings upon her bony fingers, and small amounts of silken tartan dress were also found. Unfortunately, no clues were found to help identify her. However, given the circumstances and time scales, it is suspected that she may have been walled up alive. The discovery of her remains clearly stirred her wandering spirit, as in 1842 a soldier on guard duty in the castle came face to face with a woman approaching him in the early hours. Challenging her, and probably quite shaken, the soldier awaited a response. However, she ignored him. Concerned about the situation, the soldier shouted out to his colleagues for support before raising his bayonet and charging at the figure. To his horror, just as his bayonet was about to plunge into the figure's chest, she simply disappeared in front of him. This pushed the soldier over the edge and he promptly fainted. Once revived by his colleagues, he shook in fear as he informed them of his experience. Unfortunately, the strain on his heart was too much to take and he died on the spot. The White Lady of St Andrews Cathedral. The east coast of Scotland is a beautiful and at times rugged. A fine example of this is St Andrews. Situated on the outskirts of Fife and overlooking the turbulent North Sea, the ruins of St Andrews Cathedral provides an excellent opportunity to take in the vast majesty of what was previously the largest church in Scotland. Taking time out from a busy life, it is easy to imagine the history of this grand place and the thousands of pilgrims that would travel to the 11th century house of worship. The cathedral was built in 1160. It has survived fires and the wild and destructive Scottish weather. It was also stripped of its roof in 1296 to be used for ammunition. Being a Catholic cathedral, it fell to a Protestant mob during the Reformation of 1559 who ransacked and destroyed the interior. This attack was orchestrated by John No. Unfortunately, the cathedral never recovered and quickly fell into decline. The people of St Andrews then used its stone to develop the town of St Andrews. On the dark and stormy nights of October and November, one of St Andrews' ghosts, the White Lady, reputably wanders the remains of the two-story tower which stands to the east of the cathedral's main easterly gable. She has been seen gliding silently around the ruins before slowly and quietly vanishing. She is reported as a benevolent spirit, and in all her many sightings she has never interacted with the numerous reported witnesses. However, those who have seen the White Lady have reported an uneasy atmosphere. Over the years, the White Lady has been sighted many times, at times so often, locals become fearful of passing the haunted tower as night fell to ensure they did not have an encounter. Her identity is unknown. However, it seems part of the mystery was uncovered in 1868 when two workmen opened a sealed chamber during repairs to the tower and found a number of coffins. One was open, and inside they found a well-preserved body of a woman in a white dress. Ghosts of Pendennis Castle. Constructed by Henry VIII, Pendennis Castle was built between 1540 and 1542. It was an essential part of the King's Henrician programme, to impede any attempts of an invasion by the French or the Holy Roman Empire. It was built to protect the Carrick Roads waterway at the entrance to the River Fal. It undoubtedly made an impressive fortress. With all its history, it is no surprise that there are reports of several ghosts roaming around this former fortress. However, these hauntings have only really been heard rather than seen as a visible apparition. Reports of phantom footsteps have been heard climbing up the winding stone staircases. The intense screams of old Maud, a kitchen maid, who it is claimed fell to her death at some point in the castle's history, are regularly heard by staff and visitors. There have also been reports of the sighting of a former head cook in the kitchen areas. Childish laughter has been heard emitting from dark recesses of areas of the castle. Phantom footsteps of soldiers once posted to the castle can be heard throughout the castle and the wider site, and the ghost of the former lieutenant governor complete the assortment of ghosts that reputably haunt this magnificent old castle. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation on chilling ghost tales from around the UK. Have you visited any of the sites we covered? Have you had a paranormal experience? Is there a haunting you would like us to cover in future cases? Please let us know in the comments. As ever, please hit the like button and share this case file, and if you would like to be notified as we release new cases, please subscribe to our channel. Remember, all realities are possible, but ours are mysterious realities.